Okay, everybody, we want to bring into a conversation. I'm just going to read this to you. I'm not sure if I'll read all of it, but we're talking about boys versus girls and the importance of being your gender. You don't really have any common sense. Do I have compassion for those who are confused about their gender? Not particularly. I really just don't care. I think you're disgusting and despicable, and your energy is really, really gross. You're nasty. And what I worry about most is the children that are suffering that you claim to care about. However, we see with Harlow and Monroe, as well as Kyle and Dylan, that you just do not respect humanity. You don't respect humanity because those children would be sleeping in my house if you did. Because that's what they're asking for. Because they don't like you. You're not good people. You're strange. You're horrible. You're more like uncles. And then you put them here because you wanted to fuel your agenda of your policies of what? Gender? So happens that you got a boy and a girl with IVF. So we know you planned that. So you want to do a science experiment off of somebody else's life. Then when they were first born, they started filming because they wanted to make money off of them, and that's fucking illegal. Let's not forget Booty Butt, who specifically asked for two black children. So not only do they have two men as their supposed parents, he's never home working. They got a nanny. And by the way, they don't want to be with you either. They want to live here. Now, where was I going with this? The importance of understanding the way the body muscles work. We know that is a boy. And that is the girl. And it has everything to do with the energy pathways of how you stand and the strength of who you are. And to let you know that if a teacher is teaching you about bandhas, they should not be practiced while you're pregnant. So if you are the parent of the woman whose husband was in the Navy and she was practicing bandhas, showing you how they could take their stomach and suck them in with babies inside their bellies, that's illegal. Thank God my twins, who live in Virginia Beach, possibly Texas now, thank God they turned out just fine. In a way, Mula Bandha is the easiest bandha to explain. Just imagine that you have to pee and there is a line about 25 people long and you cannot cut the line. The muscles you instinctively contract to pull up and hold in is dying to flood out can be generally considered the Mula Bandha, or at least the Mula Bandha region. In Sanskrit, Mula means root, and thus Mula Bandha is the root lock. So when you become a boy and you're a girl, you lose sight of your Mula Bandha, which is your root lock, which means you have no foundation in who you are, which I guess is what you're all hoping for. Which means that someone like Monavan can come in, steal your soul, take you down, blast you with her urine, and then laugh at your face while she talks about eat clean. And so that's what you're doing while Kamala Harris supports you. Thanks for giving me your Mula Bandha, she said. To find it, sit, stand, or even be in an asana. And if you are a man, contract the area between the anus and the testes. A woman doesn't have testes, a boy does. A woman has an anus. If you are a woman, contract the muscles at the bottom of the pelvic floor behind the cervix. Initially, the anal sphincter will also contract, but with time, that practice, you will be able to hone in on the Mula Bandha region and leave the rest aside. Mula Bandha should be held throughout your entire yoga practice. Yes, the whole hour. Yep, I know how to do that too. Great job. And that's what I wanted to tell you about the Mula Bandha. And so that's what they're trying to steal from you. And this is some major information. And I remind you that Kamala Harris is Indian. And the Mula Bandha is Sanskrit, which comes from India. And she was very much telling you that her person wasn't her father that she wanted to have dinner with. It was her mother who raised her to be Indian. So it's very important that you understand the way that Kamala Harris is operating in America. Meaning we don't want diversity or inclusivity. We want authenticity. We want to know if you're a criminal. We want to know if you're a contributor. We want to know if you're a pervert Persian. And we want to know what you're fucking up to. We're not going to give our country away. We're not going to give our country away to an Indian. Sorry. We tried a black person, but that person wasn't black. But you got tricked into thinking that charisma, which is nothing but garbled mouth shit, was charisma. But that was just garbled mouth shit. Where he then sold you all out to the Middle East. Which is why we're dealing with this mental psychosis of Palestine. So when you talk about democracies at risk and at stake, it's democracy of the foreigners and the criminals being able to do whatever they want to abuse you as Americans. So your children are literally throwing all of you adults under the bus while you stand there with a fucking smile on your face saying, "We pro-freedom." This is not your 70s fight. This is a very, very different, fools. Because the generation of Donald Trump is a generation that you belong in. And Donald Trump is no stuff-ass parent that you had. No, he's a man that upholds integrity and lives for this country to have law and order. And I'm sorry, Pink Code, that you don't like America, but we can definitely send you back to Palestine where they'll treat you like a princess, where Hamas, a terrorist group, can take you into the depths of the tunnels where the hostages of Israel are being held. Because you're a crime against humanity. That's what you want to understand about these climate people and about these people who are Palestinian supporters or these Persians. They don't offer shit to anyone. They live in their own weird, strange world where they just want to scream and yell. They just want to show their provocativeness and have everyone tell them how wonderful they are. They could take a shit on the carpet and you'd say, "How wonderful are you?" And then they would smile on camera and say, "I'm really wonderful." And that's how Mona behaves, because everything she produces is garbage, all gaslighting. Everything she produces is nothing but gaslighting. There's no value to anything she produces. No value. Not one thing brings value to anyone. That's why you only see 0 comments on her Facebook page. Because she's not willing to pay both Instagram and Facebook for the comment section. Because no one gives a shit about you. You're boring, you're hideous, you're annoying, and you're Persian. Let me be a little clearer. She's actually Iranian. A third world country, meaning she doesn't really have an education. Her education is in corruption. Kind of like Hezbollah or the Houthis. Houthis.